Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Jeanette.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Eve.
Tonight we are talking about Station 19 and Grey's Anatomy, episode 2 of the new seasons.
Yeah,
Right? Has it just been 2? I was like, I had to double check myself. I'm like, I feel like there's been more. Maybe it's because we've been talking about it so much. I don't know.
only 2.
Just the two.
They're so awesome. It feels like 5.
Yeah. Right. So I'm really excited that we are like still seeing Jack in these episodes, but I don't like the state that he's in. It's really sad to see him.
Well, Karina kind of laid into him, and by kinda I mean she really laid into him. So I mean, it's always kind of nice to see that. I love Karina, giving him that crap. So
I loved it when he said, like, why are you yelling? And she's like, have you ever been yelled at by an Italian? And he's like, yeah, you.
it's like, you'll know when I'm
She's like,
yelling.
"You'll
I'm like,
know."
I think she's yelling.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't think she's yelling.
She was yelling later when we heard her like talking, like when she started talking Italian and like walking off, like that was yelling.
That was yelling. Before it was just a stern talking to.
Exactly.
Which Jack needs right now. So
He does.
It was kind of weird seeing Karina at Grey's in Station 19.
I know, but I like it. I'm so glad because like we never get to see that happen. And we also saw, Dr. Adams was there too. I got really excited. I was like, ooh, because he's my favorite new intern so far. So I was happy that he popped up.
I do like him.
I love how Karina was with him. I think at one point she was just like, no, he can walk. Come on, we're gonna go walk. And then she just got so fed up with Adam. She was like, just go learn something.
Because what did she say? Do you know where Imogene is? And he was like, that's my next question. And she was like, forget it, I'll take him.
Like, could you imagine somebody watching her treat a patient like that and not know their history?
Exactly.
Get out of the bed.
Like, I'm really concerned for this patient.
I love it. But how long had it been between the first and second episode that he had just let his wrist he didn't even bother. They told him to go in, and of course he didn't do it.
I think it was about a week.
Yeah. Poor guy looked in bad shape. Yeah.
I know. Well, it looked fun at the beginning, at the opening of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little shocking. That wasn't very Station 19-y.
That montage, I was like, well, in my head, I said to myself, because Elena keeps wanting to watch the show, and I was like, this is why you can't, because every once in a while we throw in stuff like this. It was,
and it's always shocking.
It. It was fun. I was like, ooh, there's them, and Dick and Theo and all these people, but I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but
everybody's having a good time.
I did pause it, and I'm like, what am I watching?
Right.
Just to make sure I was watching the right thing. And then I saw Vic's face and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, but I didn't even recognize Theo at the beginning. I just saw skin. Yeah. I'm like, wait, who? What?
Like, ooh.
Did I turn it on Tell Me Lies?
I like Theo, right? I was like, wow, okay. No, I did anyways, but
it was good. So we find out though that he actually did go to try to find his brother.
Yeah, his
brother,
foster,
right?
His foster brother, I think.
Yeah. And he just didn't remember him. I was like, oh.
I mean, it makes sense that he wouldn't, assuming that he was so young.
Yeah.
But still, that was really sad.
Yeah, because Jack, he needed that. And I wish he'd went on to find his sister, because from what I remember of that storyline, they had a really close bond.
Yeah.
So I feel like she would remember him.
Maybe that's something we'll see in the future.
I hope so.
Maybe that's what it'll take to kind of put him back right side up.
I hope so. Yeah, but I'm guessing that with the reaction he got from his foster brother, he probably just said, you know what, I'm not going to bother with my foster sister.
Yeah.
I mean, do you blame him?
No, but
no, I mean, I'd probably think the same thing too, but
hopefully,
well,
I mean,
you
maybe he
never
just
know.
needs a break. Maybe in a little bit he'll look up and say, okay, I'll try again.
Maybe just let Karina yell at him a few more times and then he'll be good to go. Yell at just have
in
her yell
Italian.
Yeah, that's the trick.
And I have to admit, because I wasn't on here like last week or whatever, like I had heard the rumor that Eva was coming back, the actress. And only because like I used to watch General Hospital. She was on there. She was one of my favorites when she was on it. So like when she was on Station 19, it was a horrible character. I was like, ugh. But then she was coming back and I was like, maybe like they're gonna like kind of make her a better person. And like her and Jack actually like could have a romance, but she's still terrible. And I'm like, I wish that wasn't the case.
I don't know what he's doing with her right now. It's frustrating me, but maybe
I don't think he knows what he's doing with her right now either.
Maybe it's just what he needs.
He does, but he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. He needs somebody better. I'm just saying.
So what I loved is that regardless of how angry Karina is with Jack, I don't know if angry is the right word, maybe just frustrated.
Mm-hmm. Disappointed.
Disappointed.
Yeah.
Like she still really wants to go to bat for him and really help him, but her other half does not.
Of course she doesn't.
Well, her other half is, Maya's more all about Maya, so
yeah.
You know what? Maya can go.
Yeah, Maya could leave tomorrow and I wouldn't miss her.
No.
Yeah. Like right now, like I also didn't realize, I guess I should have realized that like they're still trying to get pregnant, but it's obviously not Jack's sperm they're using now. So I'm like, no, hold on, then I don't want you to get pregnant right now, because I was really wanting Jack to be the daddy. Like,
well, and also, I mean, should they be trying to get pregnant right now with as many marital problems as they're having?
The only part that it really bugs me is that I know that Karina really wants this.
Yeah,
and I'm sure the clock is ticking for her. And so like Maya needs to get it together so that they can make this happen. But she's not.
No, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Maya right now, but she needs to get something straightened out and situated, because every single week I'm disliking her more and more and more. And I'm like, you guys are about to push it too far to where there's not going to be able to be a comeback.
Yeah, no, I mean, like that drama with her and Beckett, like I like Beckett better than her. I'm on his side, and
I don't
Beckett
like him. I'm liking him
I agree.
right now. And with Maya, I'm like, every week I think, oh well, there's no way I could possibly like her any less. And lo and behold, they surprise me every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does one more thing to piss me off.
Like I used to have compassion for the situation that she was in and how she was feeling. Like I think last season that's where I was at. Even up until like the blackmail, I was still like, oh, okay, Maya, like don't do that. But like I see where you're at. But then I feel like this week we've taken it to a level that I can no longer be supportive, or even have any kind of empathy for you at all.
Yeah. No, it is. It's about there for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think probably this coming week, if
we need to turn around, like
if we don't turn around this next coming week, then I don't think there's no turning around.
No,
at least for a lot of the fan base. I mean, I'm sure there are some Maya fans. I mean,
I'm sure
there are. I can almost guarantee you, but
I don't think she had many fans to start with, if I'm being honest. I mean, I think she's one of the least liked characters of the show.
I don't know if she's a fan favorite.
I don't think she's a fan favorite at all, but I feel like any character in any show is going to have a little group
somebody out there
fans.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many more of those are going to be left.
Maybe that's what, like, if anyone's listening to this and you are supportive of Maya, can you please explain that to us? Because like, I don't know how anyone can still be supportive of her actions. I mean, this week we had Andy, who even Andy had her back. Even after hearing what she did, Andy was like there for her. You know, I mean, she gave her advice. Obviously, she said, don't tell anybody else this, because she knows, like, if you tell anybody else, no one else is going to be as forgiving. Like, you know, I mean, Andy loves her. That's her best friend. So yeah, she's trying to help. No one else will feel that way. And she agreed with Karina, like, you need to get some help, like, to deal with this anger. Like, this is not the way to be handling this right now. But Maya's still like, no, I'm just going to cause some more damage.
And I'm going to call all of you guys crazy because you think I need therapy.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
I did love how there was one part I found really funny when Andy said, no, we don't blackmail each other. I was like, yeah, we don't blackmail our friends.
No. I mean, why would you think that you do that? And I mean, I don't know. I mean, and like I said, Beckett, he's given her a lot. I mean, he was being really hard on her this episode. I was like, okay, come on, like, that's enough, I guess, making her do all the grunt work. But then, I mean, at the same time, I'm like, I get it. I mean, like, she came after his job.
She came after his job, and it's his job to make sure she knows her place.
I mean, honestly, if that was real world, she would not have a job.
Exactly.
And I would agree with that decision.
I think the only reason she even does is probably because they do recognize, and I mean, I can say this, Maya is good at her job. Like, I mean, she made one mistake, which is what got her knocked from captain, last season or whatever. But otherwise, she is good.
Yeah.
When she's on her game, she's a good leader. She like makes good decisions. Like, I'm with it. But she's so emotional. And, I mean, she just takes all this to heart. And I don't know. I mean, it was a lot.
It is. And it doesn't need to be like that. Yeah. And Andy covering for her, I didn't like that either.
You know what? I think Andy was not just covering for her, but I think Andy was covering for Robert.
You think
because
so?
I think I do. I don't know. Even last episode, I got a little. I wonder if we're not going to try to get them back together. I mean, Andy is the main character of our show. She's got to have a love interest.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've seen a lot of people saying they wish they want her to with Jack. I don't. I think they're just friends, and I don't ever want that to happen.
I don't want friendship to be touched at all.
Her and Robert, I mean, there for a while, I was really supportive of their relationship. So I wonder if we're not trying to head back in that direction.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I would too. No, but I think like the last few, like that last little bit of the show, those were sort of the moments that like did me in.
Yes.
One, you made Karina cry. Unacceptable. Like, no one should ever make that woman cry.
No, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, because I mean, like, and all she was doing was trying to love you and help you, and you made her cry for that. I think Maya will regret that once she realizes kind of, I mean, because I do think that Maya really loves Karina, and I don't think she would want to hurt her. I think she's in a bad place. I'll give her that. But for me, the biggest thing was I don't like Beckett. I don't like him at all. But the man's a recovering alcoholic, and you gave him a peace offering that's a bottle of liquor. I mean, that's low. I don't know. I didn't care for it at all.
That was a move.
I was really intrigued at first, and then she pulled it out. I was like, oh, that's a real, what move.
Low blow.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, that's just so, I mean, it's cruel is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, who in their right mind does that?
Well, that's exactly it. She's not in her right mind.
Yeah. Because it sounded to me like, because I know I listened to your all's episode last week that we weren't sure how he was. It sounds like he really is recovering. He really has quit drinking on the job. He's on his road to recovery. And then to do something like that is just, it's so insensitive.
Yeah. The only thing he's done wrong at this point is put her in her place. And that's really it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one who blackmailed him, and she's giving him this peace offering because he's making her life difficult after she tried to blackmail to get his job. Like, I really don't understand how her thought process works at all.
Yeah.
I would have fired her on the spot. I am sorry, but he's letting it go a little bit too far.
Yeah.
And she has no proof of him and her name is escaping me.
Ross,
thank you. Yes.
Sullivan. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she has zero proof that they were ever together. They're not together anymore. They're not, I mean, they quit doing everything. There's Maya's just digging a hole for herself right now and burning bridges as she goes.
Yep.
And not thinking about the consequences or how this is going to affect not only her life, but Karina's life.
Yeah.
So,
and how do you, like, at this point, like with all of these things, like even if for some reason like a captain position comes open, how do you think you would get it now? Like, there's no way.
Through more blackmail?
Yeah. I don't understand.
That's the only way, is if she does more blackmail. Because that works great this time.
So even with all this drama, they still have to work as a team on their calls. And this one was really crazy. I mean, I've heard of this happening before, but that guy was stupido.
Though, I want to say, like, it was so funny that I was thinking this last week before, because I didn't watch the previews for these because I wasn't going to be on the podcast. And so a lot of times I don't watch the previews because I like to just be surprised with what's happening next week.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, man, Station 19 to be a like group of like firefighters, we hadn't seen like a fire for them to fight in a long time. So I was kind of excited. I was like, ooh, of course it was a little mini fire. I feel like we didn't have to do a whole lot of stuff, but
yeah,
I felt like we don't see fires very often.
It's all more drama based than it is the actual calls.
Like there's like car accidents, paramedics, things like that, but not a lot of fires.
Yeah.
So this was, as a viewer, fun to see, I guess. But what it was just like an old, I guess like an apartment building. But obviously in a bad area, because they said like, there were no, I don't know. They made it seem like it was in like an older area, probably like, this is why the hydrants were dry and they couldn't they didn't have all that.
And they mentioned when they were inside that they're like, why are the fire alarms not going off?
Yeah.
Older building not taken care of.
Right.
I think this was a lower, like more of a poverty section of the town.
Yeah.
In their area. So I think we're even talking on the podcast. I was like, why would there be no water in the hydrants?
I remember
but he answered us.
Yeah, they did. And I'm glad they did.
Me too. I was like, oh, okay. Thank you for answering me.
Scary, because this guy's got like all these servers hooked up, and obviously the fire's in the walls from all this crazy wiring happening, and they had no water. I'm like, oh my god, how stressful would that be? But then of course Andy, this is why she deserves to be captain. Thinking on her feet was like, there's a pool over here, and I was like, that's a really good idea. Like, why wouldn't I? They had already mentioned the pool, and that didn't cross my mind. But that's because I'm not a firefighter, I guess. But thank goodness she thought of that, and it worked. They got it all put out.
They did. It added a little bit of a excitement to it, so it wasn't just a boring old fire,
boring old building fire. Who wants though?
If you're gonna set buildings on fire, you better make it interesting.
Exactly.
No, but I thought the little tool was really cool.
Yeah, I liked watching it because I was
saying, too.
How does this work? Like they're hooking this up and this up, and I was like, but how's it? And then she just dropped it in the pool, and I was like, I love that.
Oh yeah, I was very intrigued as they were doing it. Like, I'm learning something new this week. I like this.
Educational.
Yeah, if there's a fire, please don't call me.
No, we're not the people to call.
I can tell you probably how to do stuff, but you don't want me in there.
We can tell you how it's been seen on TV, whether that's actual.
We can tell you how the experts on TV do it, but that's about it.
The experts on TV.
I'll tell you how Herrera would take care of this situation, right? We don't know. That's how you do it. But apparently this isn't the only spot that this is happening at, which is so they're having to convince that guy to tell him who he's working for. Now, this was all a little over my head, exactly what was happening.
Yeah, that part technical. Yeah, that part went a little bit over my head also. I kind of followed a little. I loosely followed it. But for the most part, I was like, I don't understand what they're talking about.
It was like Bitcoin type stuff, right? Okay. Which that's like my knowledge of Bitcoin. I don't understand it.
It exists, and that's all I know about it.
Yeah, it can make you rich. I don't know how in the world it can. But, I don't.
It can make you rich if you invested in it
a long time. Yeah.
when it came out.
Yeah. But they finally get him to tell him. So that part was funny. They go find the other guy that was involved. And I don't know. I just love sometimes Station 19 brings like the funny. And so when he's standing up there and they're like, don't jump. And he jumps off and hits himself in a really awkward spot of his body. And every one of the guys like immediately covered themselves. Like just
the girls too.
They did too, didn't they?
No, I was like, oh God, that hurts. And I'm not even a man.
If a girl felt like that, guess what? It would hurt just as freaking bad, I think.
It definitely would. Yes. I mean, like that.
Oh God.
It just added injury to insult.
Yeah.
That was painful, but he probably deserved it. So
gonna think twice next time, okay?
Exactly.
So if we learned, when the firefighters tell you not to jump, don't jump.
Because they almost killed this poor elderly man.
Yes, I was going to say we forgot to talk about that couple that Travis rescued.
Yes, that he did make me giggle when he's like, you don't need that."
Like, you don't need that. Oh, it's your wedding album. Okay. That's
okay.
Well, like the medication that she was getting, I was thinking, oh, maybe she does though. Imagine trying to remember what all kind of medication he had, like,
and he probably has to take it like at certain like times.
Yeah.
But also in the back of my mind while I'm watching this, I'm going, you were just standing there behind him. You weren't thinking about grabbing this stuff while you were waiting for somebody to help you.
I guess maybe I don't know. Who knows? But yes. But they got out of there, and what made me laugh so hard was like the proposition she had for Travis in the ambulance on the way there. I was laughing so hard at this.
Well, Ben got in on it too. That was hard. I was like, okay, I'll just take the number and y'all give it to him.
What'd she say? She was like, do you have a wife? And he's like, no, I had a husband. Oh, my grandson's gay. And he was like, good for him. I'm sure when you do hear stuff like that, you're like, okay, like that means,
like we're not in a club.
Yeah.
Does he have the jacket and the secret handshake?
But I'm eager. I want to meet this grandson because I feel like we're leading up to the fact that he might be. I'm thinking, well, let's see him first, Travis, before we shoot it down. Maybe he's really handsome, like.
I need Travis to have somebody.
Yes. I'm ready for it.
They were hinting last week before he was going to that campaign talk thing that it'll look better if you have like a partner next to you.
Yep.
So, I mean, they could be hinting that we're about to get another Travis love interest.
Because Ben took the phone number. He's like, I'll make sure he calls him,
Fingers crossed.
We'll see. I wonder what we're going to do with this mayor storyline. Because he keeps saying like he doesn't want it, but I'm like, then, like, I don't understand the logic of running because you want Dixon to lose. But if you two are the only two running, then if he loses, you win, Travis. Like, that's the only like other option. Like,
unless he talks someone else into also running.
But I don't think I think if he wins, it's not because people are voting against Dixon. I think it's because Travis is going to win them over and they want him, because I really do actually think he could be suited for this job. So, I mean, I don't want to lose him at Station 19, obviously. I don't know. I kind of want to see him get this win too. So I don't know what I want out of this storyline.
I don't know. I go back and forth. I want to see him succeed and become mayor and make changes. At the same time, I do understand where he's scared that he's going to turn out to be like Dixon. I get that. That is a logical fear. I don't think he will.
You are never going to be like Dixon. Like,
no.
I mean, will politics change you a little? Probably. I think it probably has to an extent. But I think Travis is too good of a guy to let it change him that much.
I think so too.
Yeah. Oh, and I wanted to tell you all, because I was listening, and we know I like to talk to you all as I listen to your recordings. Alderman was the word you were looking for last week that Casey.
That's it. I knew it was some random word that I was.
We kept saying it. I'm like, Alderman. Hoping like you all could hear me and you were going to get it. Obviously, you wouldn't.
You weren't yelling loud enough.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'd love to see Travis win. Like, I want to see that happen, but at the same time, I don't want him taken away.
Yeah, same.
Firehouse. So, and I know as mayor, he probably, has to devote a lot of time to, mayoring and less time, at the station. So I don't know, maybe it's another alderman situation where he wins, does his mayor thing, and eventually
comes back.
But I don't want him to leave in the first place. So I'm confused.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know where they're going to go with this. I'm interested to see.
I mean, I definitely don't want to see Dixon win. I would rather sacrifice Travis than these poor people have to live with Dixon as a mayor. Like,
I'd have to move.
There's no, I mean,
in
he's
Seattle,
terrible.
Dixon became mayor. I'd be like, well, I guess that's it. Time to leave Seattle.
Yeah.
It was nice. Bye, guys. I think that's it. Do we hit everything? Yeah. We have next week to look forward to. Okay, so next week's preview, we don't really get a lot of info, but we see there is a little bit more movement happening with Jack between him and Andy and Beckett. Hopefully he'll be coming back soon. Hopefully I like that we're still seeing him every week. It still just like gives me hope that, he's not going anywhere. He'll be back. He's just got to find his way back. So
yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll get a little bit more insight into what's happening there. And then we have Karina, who might be pregnant, but
no, I hope not.
I'm hoping not yet. And that sounds so bad, but just with the spot Maya's in right now, it would just, I mean, maybe, but maybe that's what Maya needs. Maybe she needs this. I don't know.
But it's not Jack's baby. I need it to be Jack's baby.
I don't know. Maybe it's better that it's not. Look, he's not going through that good of a time either.
But I really wanted. I don't know. I loved the idea of that trio raising a baby together. I just really enjoyed it.
I did too. I want him to, but
like I was
at this point,
yeah. I mean, not to bring up another show, but I mentioned this on our 911 recording. Eve, you weren't on there. Like, this is like the Buck storyline, except for Jack. I want this to happen. Buck, I don't want him to go and be a sperm donor, like, for this couple. Like, I want Jack to be like the father of this baby.
Yeah.
I think it would bring him out of his, I think this would help him as well. And not that a child should be brought into the world in order to save someone. I know, like, that's not a reason to bring a child in the world, but the reality is sometimes it can. I mean, sometimes that other life depending on you does make you make better choices. So
I want Karina to be pregnant, but not this way.
Not yet.
Not
yet. Let's get Jack fixed and Maya fixed, and then make it happen.
If Karina keeps yelling in Italian, then maybe we can, get them straightened up and they can all have a baby together.
I'm thinking that this episode is going to be the episode that we see Jack make a turnaround. I don't think they'll drag this on too long. I don't want them to, because that will bore me.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that, this will be the third episode that we're talking about it. Maybe not he won't come back right away, but maybe this will be the episode where they'll break through to him that, like, we are still here for you. Please lean on us. Let us help you. And we'll start moving forward.
Some kind of movement.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Well, I think that is it for Station 19.
Moving on to Grey's Anatomy. Another great episode. I am loving this season. I have not loved, I've tried to, hide my disappointment last season over the Greys, but I have not been happy with it for a little while.
Last 2 years.
Yeah, but this is like since DeLuca, if we want to go ahead and bring his name up, like I always have to. Since him, I have not been happy with Grey's Anatomy at all. And I'm finally like really excited again. So
yeah, same.
Well done. First off, thank goodness Levi, he wanted to be their vagina, and he's going to.
Yep.
So
excited.
I had to say that because I wasn't on here last week. I had the joy of like talking about that with you. So, here he is.
Levi was great I love Levi this week, even though he was under mass amounts of pressure. No, I love how Levi was with the interns. He wasn't overly like cruel with them, but it was very reminiscent of when we first met Bailey.
Yeah.
He was like, and this is happening, and this is happening, and this is happening, and I haven't slept in 48 hours or however many it was. So I'm going to give you your assignments and you're going to do it. And I was like, okay, Levi.
I liked it. I honestly liked it.
I loved it.
He wasn't like overly mean. He wasn't like super rude about it. It was just a matter of fact. I'm not gonna deal with you guys fighting me on where I put you. Don't talk back and go do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it was very matter of fact, like, hey, I'm in charge, you're gonna listen to me, but he wasn't overly mean about it.
He was commanding enough that they did listen. Like, I have to admit, last week when he was like, everybody was like, you'd make a great chief resident, I was thinking, would he? I mean,
would
I
he
love
be
Levi,
chief president, or is it just because he's the only one left?
Exactly. I wasn't sure how this was going to work, but after this week, I'm like, no, I think he's going to do a good job. I think this is going to be good.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited.
I am too. I think he'll be great. I'm just
he just needs some help though, because right now he's the only senior resident, so he's assisting on like all of the surgeries.
Yeah. That poor guy. He's gonna be so exhausted.
And then Helm, we saw Helm, guys. I know Amanda like told me.
I don't want to speak about Helm. I'm not happy with her right now.
I think she's gonna be back. I think she's gonna come back.
She has to come back.
I don't think there's any reason to show
her.
Yeah.
I mean, because the only thing is, I'm like, maybe they showed her once so we would like know what happened to her.
But they didn't show us Perez or anybody. I mean, like, so I don't know. I think we'll get her back.
They could have easily just been like, oh yeah, Helm went off and she's doing, whatever. But the fact that they actually showed her, I don't know. That makes it, I don't know. It feels different. Like she's going to come back.
Well, I mean, she's just working across the street.
Was it Joe's? I thought it was Joe's, but I was like, is it for sure? Like,
I'm assuming it's Joe's. I mean, because Levi was there during lunch. He was still like, I think on shift.
That's true. Okay.
So, and it was like midday. So I think it's, it looked like Joe's, at least to me.
Well, hopefully she'll come back. I mean, I hate that. I mean, we're going to have to there's going to be some other residents are going to have to come back, because I mean, he can't be the only resident. Like, I mean, who's managing all the other interns then? There has to be other ones, right?
Well, not if they were scraping the bottom of the barrel. They might only have those.
Is that all they have? Maybe.
I think so. No. There's more.
I thought I saw more.
There's more because they're all in like the locker room together.
Yeah.
I remember
like
seeing
we
more.
didn't like. I don't know. I mean, he didn't give them assignments that we saw. So I'm like, there has to be like, we're going to have other residents. He can't manage everything.
They might have other residents, but he's just the.
I guess the only senior one. Yeah.
Well, there could only be one chief resident. So maybe that's just why.
But like Maggie didn't have anybody else to help her with her surgery. So maybe he's the only like fifth year resident. Maybe all the other, but no, they haven't had the program. So that's, I don't know. I'm a little confused on what's going on in that area.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get more clarity as we go on.
Because you can't just have the one. Like,
it's not going to work.
No.
He's going to get worn out super fast.
Yes.
So do we want to talk about, is he Jeanette's favorite?
So far, he's my favorite. Lucas, he's my favorite intern so far. Although I love Jules too, but I don't know.
I only love Jules because I loved Rain.
That's really what it is.
Because she's Adelaide Kane.
Yes,
but that's who the Queen of Scots, from Rain.
Yeah,
she was the main character in Rain.
That's sort of why I love her too, and that's why I'm excited for Benson, because I love Mike Chang, but like Lucas is like I'm a fan of his just simply because of him. I've never seen him in anything else. I don't know. I just like the way he came on the screen like last week or whatever.
Yeah, he's very because he's a very confident one, and
I'm excited. Like, and I liked him before we knew he was a shepherd, but I like him even more.
Yeah, because
just the interaction with Amelia this week was, I mean, so fun. I think, well, like it was cracking me up this week because like he, we found out he's living in the hospital, which is I love all of that too, because how many of them lived? I thought to myself last week, as soon as we found out that he was like their nephew, I thought, how long till he's living at Meredith? Like it's gonna happen, right? I mean, everybody lives at Meredith anyways. Like, but he's family. He's gonna have to live at Meredith.
It's like a rite of passage. Everyone at that hospital has to at some point live.
Who's all living there right now?
It's just her and Amelia and the kids, right?
And are Maggie and Winston?
I think
living
Maggie
there
and
too?
Winston don't live there.
I think Maggie and Winston, I thought they had gotten their own
I think they do.
place. But I'm trying to
Granted,
rack my
there's
brain right now.
I mean, that's 4 kids and 2 adults. I mean, it's still a lot of people in the house, but
I think
there's room.
There's more room.
There's room. We can make room.
Even if he sleeps on the couch, I think he'd be
Yeah.
fine with that. Right now, he's sleeping on a hospital
Yeah.
cot.
So he
step
doesn't
up.
he doesn't want special treatment, which I can really admire, of him not wanting that. But Amelia didn't really take that no for an answer. She found him an apartment next to Meredith's, and she was like, "You can come over and do your laundry and have dinner." She's like, "I don't cook, but Meredith's pretty good." And Maggie makes dinner on Sundays, so I mean, she's making sure. I just thought that was a cute little aunt niece or aunt nephew, sorry, interaction of making sure he's fed and taken care of and all of that. So,
oh yeah, I enjoyed it. It was I don't know. He reminds me of Derek in some ways, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what Meredith said last week, and that he is so Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's all I can see.
Yeah,
he is so much like Amelia, and I thought that was kind of a weird turn for the writers.
Mm-hmm.
To make him a little bit more like Amelia than they would Derek, even though they usually try to, remember Derek and, they bring him up all the time. I honestly thought that they would try to do that with Lucas, but even this week, it just kind of honed in on the fact that they are going to try to make him a little bit more like Amelia and a little bit less like Derek.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it really did surprise me. I didn't see that coming.
But the funny, I mean, by not wanting the special treatment, by not Vincent saw him come, and as soon as he saw him come out of that room, I was thinking, oh no, he thinks they're sleeping together. And sure enough, he tells everybody that,
but he doesn't deny it. Why?
Because I guess
he can't deny it. He can't deny it without saying, "Oh yeah, she's my aunt."
I would rather them know. I mean, what are they going to think when they find out?
Yeah. I know it was awkward, but it was so funny.
I have a feeling that the rest of the interns are going to find out that he is Amelia's nephew in the most hilarious way possible. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited for it.
I wonder if somehow Amelia going to find out they think that they're sleeping together, because she's not going to keep quiet. She's going to absolutely say no way.
I hope not. I don't know. It's pretty funny how they're going. So they can just keep going for a while. Yeah. I would like them to keep it going until most of the season.
I think it's funny. I want it to keep going too.
It's a little joke. He was on Dr. Adams. Lucas was on Winston's service this week, which also meant working with Maggie a lot. Since, it is one thing that's kind of bugging me about Maggie is that she really does control Winston in all aspects.
She does.
And it's never really bothered me before until this season.
Yeah.
Last week and this week. It's kind of been bothering me. I'm like, hey,
yeah.
He's a doctor too. He's your husband.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's been bothering me too.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if she's always been this way and I just didn't care until now, but it's really annoying. I'm like, he's a doctor too. Mm-hmm. He has patients.
Yeah.
And she's just la-di-da, mine are more important.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and part of it, I understand. Yes. She's the head of cardio. So I get that to an extent, you do get to be in control of him. I got it. But I think she takes advantage of it with him because it's her husband and she knows that he will go along with it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's malicious. I think it's who Maggie is. She's very controlling and just wants everything. I think she even admitted that in this, that she's so worried about using someone else, using one of the, maybe she did mention the interns, when he was like, why don't you use an intern to help you? And she was like, no, because she's terrified. She wants him because she knows he's the best.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's nice and all, but at the same time, you've got to approach this differently because this isn't working.
Well, and last week I was bragging on her because she was being such a good teacher. Then this week it's she backtracked.
Yeah.
I I thought it was all very sneaky. I didn't like her stealing Levi for that surgery. That was
Now
not
that one,
okay.
I don't think she knew because she said like she didn't know that he was supposed to be scrubbing in with him. And Levi didn't tell her because he was like, "Why didn't you?" He's like, "Well, I mean," he said, "I'd go with hierarchy." I mean, he's like the hierarchy here, you know. He's like, "She's head of cardio, so I just did what she said."
Yeah.
But I'm glad. I mean, Winston finally stood up to it, and I was glad because I was thinking, okay, come on, Maggie, like you're treating him like crap over here.
Yeah, but rescheduling surgeries and moving them around without talking to somebody, that's just
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just puts a bad flavor in my mouth.
I agree.
And I've been very vocal about it. I'm not the biggest Maggie fan.
Yeah.
I don't hate her. I mean,
No.
it's nothing like that. She's just not a favorite of mine.
Right. Same.
I would be very sad if she ever leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy her character sometimes, but I think she irritates me a lot easier than other people do.
I would agree with that.
I don't know why either. Because whenever I rewatch earlier years, Maggie really didn't bother me at all. I actually really enjoyed her, even when she was like being a jerk to Richard and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
She's never been a favorite of mine. I've never like had an issue to where I'm like, oh, I hate Maggie. But
Yeah.
like I've never been like, oh my God, I love Maggie. Like she's just very neutral for me and has been since she's joined the show. Honestly, I feel the same about Winston. Like
Same.
I'm just neutral.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they just need a really good I feel like neither one of them, even Maggie, all the years she's been on, hasn't had like for me a storyline that just like drew me into her and made me feel something. So I don't know.
I don't know. When their mom died, that was pretty. I just watched that one. So that was pretty
Does that mean if I say it still didn't do anything for me? Like, I mean, I felt sorry that her mom died, obviously, but like I wasn't.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
It just didn't do anything for me.
Yeah. Because I got over it pretty fast.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel sad when Ellis died either, but she was a witch. So.
I mean, we had a reason to not care about that. So
yeah.
I did feel strongly about her, just in the hate category.
Oh no.
I do not like Meredith's parents, either one of them. Never have. You will never convince me that I should. So
but I love the actor who plays Thatcher. So
I don't know him in anything else, so I can't love him because I only think of Thatcher, and my own daddy issues like really make me hate him. I can't like him.
He's in a lot of them, isn't he?
He's a favorite of Shonda's. If you watch any of Shonda's shows, he's in most of them.
I think there's the only one I watch besides Bridgerton.
What's the new show? The Alaska Daily with he's in that.
But Maggie and Winston, they weren't the only ones like having trouble working with their spouses this week. And Owen are struggling as well.
They cracked me up more than anything.
I think trouble working with their spouses is a bit of an understatement where Teddy and Owen are concerned, especially with, oh my God, I sat there and I laughed hysterically. I had to pause the show and just sit there and laugh after Teddy gave Richard a piece of her mind. And he just got on the elevator and he just shrugged and walked away.
The thing is,
I don't know what to do with that.
Like, and with those two back and forth, like I see both sides. Like I see why Teddy is being the way she's being. It's true that Owen did this and screwed everything up for them.
Yeah. She has a right to be angry.
But I also see that she's taking the nagging wife a little too far, I think. And
yes.
So
it's too much for the workplace.
Yes. But for me, it shows that they are by far the strongest couple on the show and have been for a long time.
Yep.
Because this right here would probably break most couples. But like she said, somewhere deep, she said way deep down, I still love him. And I think that's what it is. And he still loves her and they're going to be fine.
I think they really need to talk.
Yes.
Because he's explaining why he was building sandcastles and doing all that stuff while she was working her butt off in a whole different light than when she was telling Richard he's just been out there building sandcastles. And it's not, I feel like their communication is just not where it needs to be right now.
Yeah.
But when she cracked me up, don't you even come to me when my drinking. I drink after work, after my kids are in bed. I was like, man, I feel like I've had to like do that myself. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna drink.
Yeah.
But I do it responsibly.
She was even explaining, like, like kids are asleep. We don't we've made sure they don't have to go anywhere. Like, she's like, we're good. It's
and
like,
Richard's and poor Richard's standing there like, that's not even what I was gonna talk about. And then he just walked away. I'm like, does he even remember why he went to Teddy in the first place?
I don't remember what he even said to her. All I remember is what she said back.
I don't either.
I don't think he said anything.
He didn't say anything. He just shrugged and looked confused and walked away.
Poor Teddy.
Man.
Poor Teddy. I mean, can you believe we're actually like loving Teddy now after 2 years ago?
I like funny Teddy like this. And I feel like the last couple seasons we've brought that like humor out in her. Like,
thankfully,
I like married mom Teddy. Like, somehow that made her better.
I mean,
she needs to play some Boggle.
She
get her. She needs to play some Boggle because she is just not having a good time.
She's really not. Poor girl.
Yeah.
She needs to. She's way too stressed out right now.
But I tell you who, like, it was Minka that was
Minka.
with them.
Oh God.
I felt Minka. So sorry for her because she's just like, I mean, she's like, I can't do. I mean, every time, Owen can't do anything. So anytime he's got to do anything at all, she's got to go find another attending to come supervise him.
She was getting so fed up. She tried to switch out.
Yep. Levi was
Levi was like, "Don't I told you not to."
Yeah. No, I told you can't switch. So it is what it is.
Nope. And off he went.
Mm-hmm. And Levi loved doing that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know he did.
But I feel bad for Owen too. I really do.
I do too.
I don't think he was not malicious in any kind of way in his actions. Should he have done it? No, he shouldn't have. Should he have gotten in trouble? Yes.
Yeah.
I think his punishment is pretty on par.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's good.
Mm-hmm. He didn't lose his medical license or anything, which I'm sure they could have done. And
he should be counting himself lucky, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but like she said, it cost him like $250,000 to get it like this, and it's like that's a huge hit.
It's a lot.
A huge hit. I mean, yeah, of course she's couponing now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's gonna have to.
2 surgeons happen to like watch their pennies, but I mean, I get it. Like, you spent this much. Like, it's just wild to think about. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
And that's why they had to come back to work. He's got to work even if he has to be watched 24/7. He's got to make some money somehow.
Yeah,
I do love his new solution though.
Yes.
He went up and begged to be to teach. He was like, I will teach, I'll do labs, I'll do anything, just don't make me do.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought it was a brilliant idea.
I do too, because in my opinion, Owen is one of the best teachers in the hospital, and he has been for a really long time.
Yeah.
So actually, I think this is perfect because I think they'll learn a lot from him.
And I think he'll really enjoy it. I can see him being very happy teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also with him being like in the trauma field, I feel like he's got a really like his knowledge is really spread out as far as the different things that he knows how to do. I think it's a great plan.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited actually for it.
Me too.
I think this is a great way to this was a very good idea for the writers to make it go this direction.
Agree.
Made lemonade out of lemons. Good job. But Jules and Simone didn't have it much easier. They had a really, from the pit, they had a tough case.
That was sad.
That was. It was really heartbreaking. Those two young men. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't figure out what was wrong with them.
Mm-mm.
Or I was like, man, usually I can like call this stuff sometimes by now.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I had no clue what was happening. I was like, I have no ideas, no theories, nothing.
Made me not want to eat rice for a while.
I know. I was like,
what is it?
But clearly, I mean, like, even when they were doing that, I'm like, okay, because at first I was like, oh, something's in that rice. But then as it just kept getting worse and worse, I was like, no, that can't be it because the other guy's fine. Like,
Yeah, that was crazy.
But even when, like, I mean, there was one moment where Meredith was like, what's wrong with this kid? And I'm like, that it's bad when Meredith's completely like baffled over like what could possibly be happening right now.
And just like she goes in there so confident, she puts a tube in, she does her little thing, she starts walking down.
Yeah.
What is wrong with this kid?
Yeah.
And those two poor interns are like,
oh
crap.
Shit.
And you're gonna make us deal with this on our own?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
But I mean, they ended up figuring it out, thankfully.
Yeah.
It took a while. I mean,
yeah.
This poor guy has lost half of his leg.
That was so sad. I'm like, if like they had figured it out like 5 minutes sooner,
I know.
Like it wouldn't have been so bad. And poor, I mean, that just Jules having to carry that, man, that's gonna be tough. Like, I don't know. I felt really sorry for her.
I mean,
really,
it wasn't her decision. She was told to do it by higher doctor. She shouldn't feel bad.
And I mean, but at the time, I mean, that's what they had. I mean, that's what they had to do because they didn't know what was going on. I mean, they thought this was the best way.
Yeah, they made the best decision they could with the little information they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
only do what they know to do.
Yeah. And bravo to Simone for figuring that out based on hearing, what she heard. Because that was, impressive, I think.
It was. And again, it's another throwback to have all the residents working together to try to solve that one case that's tricky. And I didn't miss that. I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, they used to do this.
Yep. And for some reason, her figuring it out and being like, he didn't get his vaccinations and just running off, it just felt so George.
I agree.
It did. Yeah. I always loved when George would figure things out because you didn't ever expect George to figure it out.
Yeah.
Even though George was so smart.
Yeah. He was just so smart, but I don't know. He was just
George.
I don't know. You just never expected him to figure anything out. Yeah, he was George.
We underestimated George a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm missing George.
But everything worked out fine in the end because they all got their little stuffed animals.
I love
so
that.
Cute.
Wasn't that cute? I love that. That was cute.
I honestly thought she was like buying it for the patient.
And
then when she walked into the hallway with all of them, I was like, oh,
that was sweet.
And then of course Simone has to go over there and switch hers. No, who was it? Mika went over there and switched hers. I'm more of a cat person.
Yeah. I like that. I mean,
just steals it. I'm like, okay, I like it. Yeah. They're all getting very comfortable with each other and making that connection, which I don't think any of the other interns since the original 5 have done it as well.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, because I think like you had a couple, like you had Joe and Stephanie got a little close, and then you had like Levi and Helm, but never as like a whole group.
Not like the 5 of them, and like gotten to see it, and that's what that is the thing that we miss from early day Grays is not only the medical stuff, but the way that the team would converse and mingle and act
and I think
together.
Like in the past we've had like a couple interns like sprinkled amongst like all these attending doctors, but we still focused on the attending doctors. And I guess I didn't even realize it, but I think what we want to see are these
all
new
the new interns, and so we're sprinkling in the old.
Yes, and I think that's the better way to handle this, and I think that's hopefully what they're doing this season.
I agree. I think they're doing exactly what they needed to do, and I'm really glad that they figured it out. I don't think I would have been like have thought about doing that.
No,
but it was genius.
This can take you so far because I mean, if we can get attached to these new people, then I mean we can go on for as long as you want to,
and then make it. Let's not go another.
No, we don't need 20 more years. I mean, but we can go a while.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, you can go another 20, 30 years, to be honest, with Grey's Anatomy, but you are going to have to switch out the actors. You are going to have to
Yes.
change everybody. It would be a
You're gonna
constant
need
change.
like,
I don't think they will do that.
yeah.
I don't think they will, but
Well, I
if
think
they
we
do
all
it.
talk about how like our, like what do we like, 5 to 8 is sort of like, I mean, the early ones and then like 5 to 8. And
Yeah.
what was different there is why? Because we got new interns. We got
Yep.
Jackson, we got April, and then we held on to that for a few years. So I think every 4 to 5 years, man, you need to be rotating people out. Like you
I
need to
think
let
every
them.
5 years, like they do, like you're a
Mhm.
resident for
Yeah.
your intern and then a resident, and that's about 5 years,
Hmm.
and then new ones.
Yeah.
And I think it's the perfect amount of time for us to know and fall in love with
Yeah.
some characters. And some of them leave, some of them stay, and they replace the attendings, because I'm sorry, but Kevin McKidd and all of them, they're not going to be there forever.
No, and they shouldn't have to be,
No.
so
I mean,
yeah.
I don't want them to go. I really much enjoy their characters, but like,
Yeah.
Ellen Pompeo stepping back,
Well,
and
and I think it helps out too, like if they do want to stick around, that they don't have to carry the show. So
yeah,
like they can pop in here and there
they
and
can work a
still
lot
have
less.
a life outside of this. I mean, I think it's a perfect plan. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I mean, and you gotta think, how much longer can James Pickens keep going?
Yeah, I mean,
I thought he was old when we started Grace.
he was. And that was 20 years ago.
And you go back, you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, he looks so young.
I know, I agree. Yeah.
But I will cry when Richard leaves.
Yeah.
I know it'll have to happen, but I will cry.
Yeah.
All right. So Meredith and Nick seem to be doing a great job as chief, residency director. Hopefully their relationship gets back on track,
Yeah.
because I love Meredith and Nick together. I really do. I wasn't totally on board at the beginning. I liked them, but I didn't know. I was weary about it. Now I'm all in. I'm so in.
Yeah.
I love them now.
Well, I mean, just the way that Nick handles Meredith, and
Yes.
I mean, he didn't. I don't know. I mean, she didn't call him and he just moved. I mean, you can tell that he didn't move on. He's obviously like sad, wanted her, but he went ahead with his life and what he was doing, and he didn't pine over this. And I like that. And I like that he sort of made her squirm a little bit, and it finally like admitting like why she didn't call and like what was going on. He wasn't just going to roll over and let her because like with Meredith and Derek. I mean, I know a lot of people say Derek was toxic, which I think he was at times, but I also think she was at times. I think they both would like at different times in their life just let the other person walk all over them.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like that's not going to be the case with Nick. Like he's definitely not going to walk all over her. That's not who he is, but he's not going to let her do that either. And so I really feel like they're equals, and I really, really enjoy it. So
I do too.
I'm glad. But I mean, like Meredith being Meredith, she's pretending she's annoyed by all his changes to the program. She's not annoyed by this at all. She's just annoyed that he hasn't like come rushing back to her side now that like he's taken his job.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I completely agree with you. There's the way that he treats her versus the way that Derek treated her are so different.
Yes.
And now that I get to see her actually, I know she's been in other relationships, but I almost don't even count them. Like they've.
Well, I mean, like if you look at like we were just talking about, how Derek, but let's take one of my favorite. I mean, let's take DeLuca. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed them as a couple while they were together, but he was almost the opposite with her, where Derek sort of treated her as like beneath him a lot of times. Poor DeLuca acted like he was beneath her.
Yep.
And so like finally we have two people that are on like level like ground together and can like truly be partners.
More of a power couple.
Derek's the love of her life, and no one's going to take that from him. He was. Yeah. He's the father of her children. I mean, I'm not huge McDreamy fan, but like I can respect the fact that they were soulmates.
Yeah.
But I think as Nick can also be that for her.
I do too. I think I think she can be happier with less drama with Nick. And like you said, Derek was her soulmate, and she will never stop loving him or thinking about him. And that's not what I don't think any of us want.
No.
But I mean, there's some real big Derek haters out there, so I can't speak for everybody when I say that. But I know for us,
we don't feel that
here,
way. No.
You know, I don't think any of us were huge. I mean, I'm probably the biggest McDreamy fan here.
Yeah.
But he's not like my favorite character either.
Yeah.
You know, there's more characters that I liked more than Derek. But when he died, I mean, that was extremely.
I was sad for sure.
That was extremely sad. I think it's also the way that they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Rude.
Rude.
But Meredith finally, I just loved when she finally told Nick that she loved him. I feel like that was a huge step for Meredith.
Huge.
But.
And he didn't even make, like, it's not like he made a big deal. He just, I love you too. I mean, it was a really sweet scene that I really enjoyed.
And then, he seems so nervous asking her to dinner.
And she says no.
No, my heart stopped. I was like, oh, you did not just say no to him.
And instead she, asked him to go to that presentation of Zola's, which,
oh my gosh.
Why?
Poor girl.
Why'd
y'all do that to us? That's just rude.
I was so proud of her at first.
I'm still proud of her.
Still am, definitely. I mean, this is a huge deal, getting a merit for this paper, and I kind of love that it's on Ellis.
Yeah, as soon as she started stumbling over the whole Alzheimer's thing, I was like, oh God, here we go.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I had heard that, like, because I mean, we've all heard that Ellen's only going to be in like 8 or 9 episodes or whatever this season, and I knew that it had something to do with Zola. I hate that we're putting her through this, though. I mean, that's a tough thing for a little one to be like worried about like that.
Yeah. But Meredith's always been very black and white with her on, real world stuff. And I mean, she's never lied to her kids, and
which I fully support. That's how I raise my kids too. They ask a question, they get a full, truthful answer. I don't sugarcoat stuff, but man, I just felt so sorry for her.
I did too. And really not just worrying about Meredith,
but Maggie too.
But Maggie too. And I guess I never really think about it. I'm always like, Meredith. And we know she has the gene.
Mm-hmm.
So we know she's going to get it eventually. Do we know if Maggie has the gene, or she never get tested?
I don't know.
Well, no, I wonder if this pushes Maggie to see if she has it.
I can't remember. I remember it being brought up before, but I can't remember the outcome, if she ever got tested or not. I don't think I think she didn't want to get tested.
That'd be hard. I don't know if I'd want to get tested. I think my mind would make me have to get tested because I wouldn't stop thinking about it, but I wouldn't want to because
I don't know. I think I would, because you can also not get ahead of it. I mean, it's inevitable, but
I would be worried every time I'd forget where my keys are. I would be convinced that this is, you know what I mean? Like, this is how my mind works. I would stress myself out.
Yeah, but you would know.
Yeah, I know.
And if not, you would be like, okay, I'm just, being a human and forgetting where I put my keys.
That's true.
We all forget it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there's goods and bads with finding out or not finding out. It's a impossible correct answer.
Yeah.
But she had that complete meltdown on the stage. It broke my heart. I cried.
Yeah.
I cried with her. I cried for Meredith and Maggie. It was just a huge emotion fest. But I agree with you. I think this is what's kind of going to push Meredith to take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
But
which I wonder what that means for, like, will she step down as chief? Like, well, she would have to, right?
I think Bailey's going to be coming back from Bailey and Joe's walk that they took there in this episode.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we didn't speak about, but I loved it.
About that, because it was just that was fun. Yeah.
That was really fun. I liked seeing them as just moms out there having a play date. It's a little bit awkward because I think they're just both not used to that.
Yeah.
But I did love seeing it. But from this talk that Bailey and Joe had, I don't know. I think Bailey will be back. Not immediately, not like next week, but I think it will push her more. I think she's going to come back as chief, and I think that's when Meredith's going to take a step back. The only thing I'm kind of unsure about is Nick. Like, is he going to stay the residency director?
I
Is
hope
that
so.
what is? I mean, what's going to happen with that? Or is Owen maybe going to take it over? I don't know.
I want Nick to stay.
I do too. I mean,
don't know.
I finally like him.
I don't really want that. I mean, I don't really want Bailey back as chief. I mean, I like Bailey as a character. Bailey as a chief makes me upset a lot of times. And I was really looking forward to, I knew Ellen wasn't going to be in this whole season, but I was really looking forward to how Meredith was going to do things because I liked it. I felt like she had the perfect balance in what she was doing as a chief.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. I'm really liking Meredith as the chief.
Yeah.
And it really does suck that
be nice if she could hang on to it somehow without
being in every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how they would make that work. I don't know if they could
do that though, but it would be nice, I think.
I don't know. Hopefully we'll get some answers on poor Zola next week. Because the previews, the previews didn't say anything about it. But I am super, super stoked for this coming week's episode. Because one, Bailey's gonna be in most of it. And it's
doing a sex ed talk.
Doing sex ed talk.
And Addison's back.
And Addison's back for the sex ed talk.
It couldn't get any better. Actually, it could. If Karina could jump on there and be involved in this, that is the only thing. If we could have Addison, Karina, and Joe all together, I feel like that would be amazing.
Yep.
But
make it happen, Krista.
Please. It was great. I'm excited for this week. See. Yeah. I think it's going to be more of a fun episode than it is going to be an informative episode, but I'm completely fine with that. And I mean, I'm sure we'll learn a couple of things maybe about the interns because I think this is going to be another intern heavy. I think it's what we're going to be focusing on from here on out, but I'm still excited to learn more and more about the interns.
Agreed. I think it'll be good.
Yay. Well, I think that is it for Grace. I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I think that's it. So everybody make sure to come check out, all of our socials. Make sure to come check out our Facebook groups for Grey's Anatomy. It's just Grey's Anatomy, Grey Family Fan Club. We talk about Grey's Anatomy and Station 19 there. Come check that out. And then make sure to check out our other episodes. We've got our Fox night. We talk about 911 and The Resident. Those happen on Sundays. Tuesday nights are our NBC nights where we talk about all things One Chicago. And then come back next Wednesday where we'll have more Station 19 and Grey's Anatomy for you. That's all. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.